What's up, everybody? It's me, Bryson Booker, and guess what? I'm back for another Pro-Audio review just for you. Today, I'm going to be doing a review on another microphone. This microphone I picked up recently. It was one of my cheapest pickups that I ever got. And they actually don't make this microphone anymore. You either have to buy it direct from the company, or you have to go on Amazon or eBay and see if you could find it on there. But it's just pretty much a review of a basic general purpose microphone from Sennheiser. This is the Sennheiser E815s, again from Sennheiser. Now, you guys know me. I have had a microphone conversion experience, and pretty much most of the microphones that I started out doing sound with are kind of gone, bye-bye forever. And you guys that have been following me for a long time, you guys know that while I love Shure microphones and I love what they do, I'm looking for something a bit more articulate and a bit more true to the source. And so far, AKG and Sennheiser microphones have been that choice of microphone for me ever since really I got into college. While Shure microphones have their place, to me, in some instances, they don't accurately represent the human voice to me like it should be represented. A lot of their top models, like the KSM series from Shure, that to me is a really good Shure microphone that everybody needs to own, but everybody can't own it because it's so expensive. And so I'm not going to spend almost $900 on a good vocal mic from a company that should be making good vocal mics for any application. Well, Sennheiser is one of those companies that make a pretty great vocal mic for almost any application you choose, even if it's for a simple application. So that's what this guy is for. This is the smallest member and the youngest member of the Sennheiser Evolution series. Now, when the Evolution series first came out back in the 90s, specifically 1999, this microphone was a part of the lineup. This was the smallest, the beginner microphone in the Evolution series. And then you had the E825, which was like a little bigger than this. It looked the same, it was just a little bit bigger. And then you had the E835, which everybody knows, which is still around today, the E835. And then the E845, and et cetera, in the Evolution series. Well, down through the years, this microphone was again renamed the E825, so they got rid of the E815. By around the 2000s, Sennheiser just kind of dropped this microphone. They used to sell a pack of these, a 3-pack of these, again back in the day, mid 2000s, late 90s. But eventually the E815 was dropped from Sennheiser's lineup. If you want to get a microphone like this now, it's pretty much the E825. Same characteristics, same response, okay? So, again, this is part of the Evolution line. They don't make a lot of them now, but if you want one, you can still pick one up for fairly cheap. They're a fairly cheap microphone. So I got mine used here from Guitar Center for around 30 bucks. And this replaced my SM58. Now, I know what you're saying. Bryson, you had a freaking SM58. Why would you trade that for this? Number one is, again, I kind of fell in love with Sennheiser, and I want their products now. That's the kind of product I craved. And the SM58 is such a common microphone. Even if I don't have one in my personal repertoire, I know I'm sure to find one at every church I go to or every other music club I may make sound at in the future. I mean, I don't know. They're everywhere. The SM58 is one of the most common microphones that you can come across. So, me giving mine away, you know, I wasn't really too sad about it. I mean, because they're going to be here until the apocalypse comes. So that's why I made the switch to fully Sennheiser. I have 3 E835s as well as the E815 here, and then this AKG that I'm using right now, but I'm eventually going to switch over to this guy. But this is just a basic cardioid microphone. It has a cardioid polar pattern. It's a very, very steep cardioid pattern. So when you start moving off axis, the sound really drops remarkably. So it's typically you want to have it close to your mouth. If you start moving off axis, the sound drops, and I'll show you that in a demo. You have obviously an on-off switch right there. Turns it on, turns it off. Ideal for like karaoke situations, like simple vocal announcer situations, which is, again, part of the reason why I got it. You know, I'm a live sound engineer, and sometimes, you know, you get those gigs where it's just a mic and done. And so these are for those situations where it's like, okay, we need a mic now. Click, talk, click, put it down, you're done. You know, that's kind of why I got this, as well as for talkback. You know, if you don't want to keep going into your digital console or analog consoles talkback sends and trying to adjust that, again, literally you set your sends where you want to send this talkback mic to, turn it on, talk, turn it off. You know, you don't have to go in and adjust the talkback settings anymore. It's just literally on and off. So that's the other application, talkback purposes. Live vocal reproduction. Again, it's for singers, but I wouldn't say that this is a singer's microphone. I would say it's more of a speaking microphone. It kind of has a response that's it may be a little too crispy for some vocals. It may be a little too articulate for some vocals. And so I would say for speaking, mainly use this. For podcasting, it's great for that. You know, you can use it podcasting. I just want to make sure this video doesn't go too long. So great for podcasting, vocal applications, vocal and just general PA applications. That's where I would use this. And I mean, if you're using up all your E835s, or if you're using up all your SM58s and you need one more vocal mic to kind of just throw on there, I would also use that. This would kind of be my last resort. Like if I'm using all my E835s and I need another Sennheiser because I want the sound to be consistent, pop this guy on. There we go. We have 4 Sennheisers. So it's great for that too. You know, if you have to just throw this on something. I haven't tried it on instruments yet. Most of the Sennheisers I work with, including their vocal microphones, they sound pretty good on instruments, but I've never really tried this on instruments. But based on the response of it, which you'll hear coming up in a bit, I don't really think it'll be that. It'll kind of make instruments sound a little bit unnatural. At least that's my perspective. So I'm done yapping. Right now you've been hearing an AKG D5, and I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to switch over now to the Sennheiser E815 so you can compare the difference between the two and see which one meets your application. Alright, I'm back, guys. So right now I am talking into the Sennheiser E815. This is how the microphone sounds, and it's going into a Behringer UMC 22 interface with a Midas preamp. So this is how the microphone sounds. No EQ, no processing, nothing. Not that bad. So right now you can hear me. I'm right on the microphone here. Literally my lips are touching the microphone. Very creamy, very articulate, very true to the source. There's a bit of proximity effect. So if I move back a little bit, that proximity effect kind of goes away. But even if I'm on it, you know, the proximity effect is not that bad. You know, generally other microphones, not mentioning names, have a very strong proximity effect when you come up close to them. This one doesn't seem to have that. It seems to maintain its articulation, and you can hear the separation of words, and it's not all muffled in that mid-range area. So it's pretty good. Again, you can hear that really crispiness of it. It's real crispy up top. And it has a little bit excitement in like the 3K range, like 3.15, somewhere in 3K, there's a rise. So again, if you got a vocalist really belting it out, you're going to notice. And so you got to pull back some of that 3K so it doesn't become overwhelming. But for speech, again, that's fine. You know, if you're using this for speech. I'm gonna move off of axis here. So check. Hey, 1, 2. Yeah, you hear that really trail off there as I move off the microphone. That's about it. So that's the sound of this microphone. And just for giggles here, because I know some of you are probably gonna be asking me, well, how does this E815 compare to the E835? Well, let's check that out now. Let's see how the E815 compares to the E835 from same brand Sennheiser. All right, guys, final test. I have the E835. So what you just heard before this was the Sennheiser E15. Now you are hearing the Sennheiser, the industry standard, at least some of the industry calls it a standard. My industry, I like to use it a lot. This is the Sennheiser E835 vocal microphone. E835, which is what I'm using now, is a bit more well-rounded in the frequency spectrum. Just a bit more sparkle up top if you like that, or you could take it away, a little bit away if you're not too keen with the sparkle. But it's just further defined. It's much more rounder. It's much more warmer and fuller. And so that's really the biggest comparisons between the two.